Ford studio for the St. Johns County show that is on in the morning. Despite being summer, we're going back to school today to talk with outgoing Superintendent Tim Forson, along with the incoming brand new superintendent for St. Johns County, Dr. Brennan Asplen, as we ask them about the transition process, the process of managing growth in the county, and what the objectives are to keep St. Johns County at the top of Florida rankings. We'll get to all that and more, but first, we want to thank Bozard Ford. Since 1949, Bozard Ford Lincoln has been more than just a dealership. It's a local legacy built on trust, family values, and a commitment to doing things the right way. Proudly serving St. Augustine and beyond for over 75 years, Bozard offers award-winning service, unbeatable selection, and state-of-the-art facility with 91 climate-controlled service bays, a quick lane for no appointment-needed maintenance, and even Ford's Garage restaurant right there on site. Recognized with the Triple Crown Award and President's Awards, Bozard Ford Lincoln is where hometown service meets national excellence. Great pricing, friendly faces, and better buying experience are just off I-95 and State Road 16. Bozard Ford Lincoln, they are driven to inspire. Also, a big shout out to all of our amazing sponsors: Fidus Roofing, Old Town Trolley, Bin 39 Wine Bar, B&S Subs, Chiba Hut Toasted Subs, St. Augie's Pizza, Chris Lucero Bail Bonds, and St. Augustine Handy Houses. Support all of our wonderful sponsors, and you can support us with your likes, comments, and shares. Find us on YouTube and help us reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers. You can also find us on Rumble. Follow us there as well. You can help us get those starbursts for the studio by sending those Facebook stars. We love them. And don't forget, our app is back in the Apple App Store. All right. We've done all of the business end. Good morning, everybody.
We paid some bills. We got to pay a little more later.
Do that.
Hey, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well. Although I've got a bone to pick with you, sir.
It wasn't raining.
So I trusted the 114 it's gonna rain, and I got in the ice bath after the show yesterday. And
Came early.
I'm in the ice bath, and thunderclaps and lightning.
And
it was very, very frightening.
And very, very frightening. And then the next wave was supposed to be worse, and it missed us to the south, which was very nice. But, I mean, the first lightning storm knocked out power on Anastasia Island, and it knocked out power at the Hilton for a little bit. But when that happens, it sometimes will throw off all the keys, and everyone has to come down and switch out the keys. And we had a conference there, so it was sold out. And everyone's standing there with their key like... like
you haven't thought of this before.
So it was really...
That's a hard day for you.
It was, well, it wasn't for me. It was for those guys. I kind of walked through when it stopped raining, and they're like, I see everyone standing there with their key. I was like, oh, no. I knew what had happened.
So I was in the ice bath. I had adjusted to the 49-degree temperature, and it starts grumbling. I look over at my timer. She only do it for so long. I look over at my timer. I'm like, it's 2 minutes, 45 seconds. It's all right. Storm's not going to come that fast. And lightning, thunder immediately follows it. I'm like, oh, that was close. Look at my timer. I'm almost there. I'm gonna make it. Another flash of lightning, immediate crack of thunder, and I'm out. Everybody, we're getting the cover. Cover that thing up. I got it covered, so the cover was outside of our covered porch area. Got the cover, put it back on the ice bath, and the bottom fell out. It's like I just
in
made
time. I missed it by about an hour. So the storm still came, but
it did come.
It came earlier than I was expecting. So
happens to lots of guys.
Blake
and Aiden, how you doing back there?
We're doing fantastic. Aiden.
Hi. Morning, fellas.
Good. Yeah, we're tag teaming in the back there. Aiden's doing his training. So when Blake goes to Ireland, we have Aiden to fill in.
You're leaving me, Blake?
He's going in the fall.
I'm sorry.
I mean,
it's in the fall.
To Ireland?
You're going for a football game? Is that what you're going for?
Yes, the Pittsburgh Steelers are playing the Minnesota Vikings in Dublin.
So you're going for actual football, not football.
Not football.
Okay.
So we might be going to like a Northern Ireland football game at some points, and maybe a little bit, maybe possibly Gaelic football, but we're definitely. But our main thing is to watch a real American football.
Real American football.
What's it called? Hurling. In Ireland, where the counties have their own teams, and it's just like it's basically like lacrosse, but with sticks that they hit like this.
Sticks and rocks, right?
Yeah, it's really like, and they use it's I don't understand the rules, but I like the violence.
Yeah. I want to see the Highland Games. The Highland Games sound fun.
Oh, yeah. So, do you go to the ones when they're here?
We tried to go last year and it just didn't work out. So I'm hoping that we can go coming up.
The caber is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty cool one. And then they have the little hay thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks like fun.
Yeah. Not for me.
We've got people in the studio. Good morning, everybody.
Yeah, good morning. Hey, can I just share something that since you said that, as I spent 20 minutes on Peloton this morning riding Dublin.
Oh, no.
So I was in Dublin this morning. Anything you want to know about Dublin, I can share with you. I know how to get around on a bike path.
You've done your research.
Yeah. So we have outgoing superintendent. Tim Forson and incoming superintendent, Dr. Brennan Asplen. Right?
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
All right. And Tim, you and I have a long history together. My first job here was at Parks and Rec, and you actually worked the summer opening the weight room for me in like 1990.
That's right.
When you were a coach at St. Augustine High. So we go all the way back since the very beginning of me being in St. Augustine. Yeah. So, and we've been on many boards together.
We have.
But I feel like we have like, you ever see the movie The Two Popes?
Yeah, I know. Although you can see a distinct difference in the outgoing superintendent's wardrobe and the incoming superintendent's wardrobe.
He said that walking in. He said he's probably wearing a tie.
That's right. Come as you are.
Yeah. So, I'm going to start with you, Tim, because you are the outgoing, and then you get put on the hot seat.
Okay. All right.
And so. One of the things I wanted to ask you, because you've had, a 40-year career, how many years has it actually been?
45.
45 years.
45, yeah.
45 years. So when you took over superintendent, you were one of the people that was helped the school district get through this massive growth of building structures and schools and all this stuff. What was the biggest challenge for you as taking over as superintendent? I mean, you and Joe were pretty tight. What was the biggest challenge making that transition from being the number 2 guy to the number 1 guy? Because he's about to do the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be the number 2 guy to the number 1 guy.
Yeah, so I'll be careful what I say because I wanted to stay in here today. But I think one of the things that, and knew Dr. Joyner well and know him well too, is that I had the benefit of really being mentored by someone who is really talented and really dedicated to the job. And so before I ever, took the keys, we had a number of discussions, a number of meetings, and he had given me the opportunity to serve as deputy of facilities and operations. So I was deep in the growth management world already. Mm-hmm. And so that side of it didn't really intimidate me or scare me. I think that's just part of St. John's. I mean, and it's not just schools, but that's a big part of who we are. Where in most other school systems, you don't have a big growth management department, construction department. We do. And that'll continue to happen throughout Brennan's career, most likely. I don't see that going away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and you also had, I call him Uncle David. You had David Toner there. So, and you had Dr. Joyner and David, 2 completely different leadership styles.
Yes.
That had to help you mold through, because one was just, know, the other one was like, okay, I'm going to hug you and help you through this.
Yeah.
And the other one's like, suck it up, Buttercup, get it done. So how did those 2 guys that you were so tightly involved with?
Well, and I had known David Toner, Mr. Toner, for a long period of time. His family knew mine, and my sisters who were a little older, so that relationship was already there. But I told a David Toner story yesterday to someone who I hadn't seen in a while. And one of those stories was that David was very much, here's the way it is. Let's go and let's just get it done. And as a new principal, I called him asking him a question about how I should make a decision about something. And he didn't answer the question. He just said, Tim, go look at your school board rules, rule number, whatever it was, 3.12, read it back to me. I was on the phone. Yeah, I read it. It said, "Did you answer your own question?" I said, "Yes, sir. I think I did." Yeah. And so, he was always right there. But it was a great opportunity for me to follow in what he was doing, because when I left Bartram Trail as a principal, that's the job I came to as David retired. Mm-hmm. So it was pretty special for me to be able to do that.
Yeah. So David's story for you, and you and I were on the Little League board at the same time. I don't know if you know how I became on the Little League board. So I was working at Parks and Rec, and David and Leon, they were instrumental in getting the whole Little League complex and everything done. And I just started, at Parks and Rec, and I think I literally was at Parks and Rec for like 3 months, and Leon comes in the next day and goes, "Hey, you were voted in as vice president of Little League." I wasn't in the meeting. I had no say so. He's like, "Yeah, David and I decided." I was like, "Okay." So that's how I was on the Little League board. But I had no choice. It wasn't like volunteer. You voluntold, and that's how I ended up on the board. And we built the Little League complex out there.
That's awesome.
That stuff. So that's how. It wasn't like I didn't go kicking and screaming, but I went, "Okay,
we'll figure this out, right?"
That's what we're gonna do. So you started as a coach. We forgot to do question of the day.
I was asking which you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Do you want to take a break?
No, we're going to do question of the day right now, and then and we're going to find out a little bit about.
All right. Before we move on,
we got to get question of the day because our audience is out there. What's the question of the day?
Yeah.
All right.
Question of the day.
The question of the day is basically what is. We're going to let you guys go first. What is your favorite subject in school? So, Tim, what was your favorite subject in school?
Mine was anything related to social studies. It's what I ended up majoring in and teaching for 13 years. And so, that was it. I had a good part of my time at St. Augustine High. I had the opportunity to teach a course called Law Studies, and that was just really exciting. We designed the room like a courtroom and got to see kids take really great opportunities to speak and have student voice and be in front of each other. And that was it. So in today's world, I don't love the political divide, but I love paying attention to the history that's being written.
Yeah, it's happening right now in front of us.
So for me, it was mathematics. I always enjoyed math from when I was very young, and I also became a math teacher, as Tim said, teaching the students. Well, early on, tutoring my friends and helping them. I realized, I do know something about this, and I do enjoy that, and helping my friends and so forth. And so I went to Florida State and became a math teacher. So
excellent.
Very cool. I love stories, and so I was history and literature. Those were my two favorite, because I just love to hear the stories behind what happened in history. So the facts are cool, the timeline's cool, but I want to know the stories. So that's me.
Gotcha. All right, guys, we got both of you guys in the room back there in the booth. Blake, what about you?
I was gonna say social studies as well, a little bit as well, like more on the civic side, like I'm saying how government works like that. So I said that I definitely am your son. I dominate a little bit too much. Ian?
Yeah, I'm going to be real original and go with social studies.
Wow, we're an exciting group.
I know, right?
Hey, guys, guess where I'm at?
There's a heavy crossover with social studies and podcasters.
I'm a history guy.
Yeah.
So you and I sit on the historic board together. But I'm a history guy, and I mean, to me, it was always fascinating. Also, like Blake, the civic side of it, I've always been involved in that. At 12 years old, I was I think I'm still the youngest mayor of DeLand. So they appointed me mayor for one meeting, and I was able to run the meeting. But I think as of like 10 years ago, I was still the youngest mayor to ever be.
What's the record in St. Augustine? I've got a 9-year-old.
I don't know. It happened. need to make that happen.
Troy, what do you think about poetry? You never hear poetry as being the favorite, unless you're really an English teacher. But
yeah, I mean, I did meet Andrew Dice Clay one time.
Oh, you
did? Close. As a guy from with dyslexia, Blake, you actually have an image of my book that I had from like third grade. And it was my book up there. It is right there. If you can see it on, you gotta get it down there. Mm-hmm. It's a book of poetry. Oh. Yeah, so that's how good I was.
There you go.
Poetry.
Well, I mean, rappers mispronounce words on purpose so that they can get the rhyme.
I'm sure that's what I was doing.
100% ahead of your time.
I'm sure that's what I was doing.
Yeah. Totally intentional.
But back to you, Tim. One of the things, you actually did retire and came back.
Yeah.
What brought you back? and because I was like, oh man, he's done.
Yeah.
He's gonna Griswold it out.
Yeah.
So, we'll tell that story later.
Close it out. Yeah. So it was actually at the same time. Again, being close to Dr. Joyner and having conversations, I knew my timeline for retirement because I had to step away. I had gone into the drop program. In Florida, at that point in time, you have 5 years. At the end of that time, you have to walk away. So I had to retire at that point in time or give up what I had invested in that program. And so, unfortunately, it landed right on, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, right on top of Dr. Joyner's decision to step away from the school district. Mm-hmm. And so I was retired for 2 months. It didn't take well. And so after 2 months, I actually came back in, was able to contract with the school district for about 4. And that was all the same time as the superintendent search was going on. So it gave me time to kind of decompress, think about it. And then I made the decision to put my name back in. And my wife, Janice, was happy that I would put my name back in just to get out of the house. And it's been an incredible blessing, opportunity to do it.
No, I wasn't ready. When I retired, I wasn't ready to retire. And I don't think you were either.
No.
So, all right, Dr. Brennan, Dr. Asplen, sorry.
No, you good.
Sorry,
call me whatever you want.
I get these interviews and I end up calling you Tim, and it should be Mr. Forson.
Tim works just fine. That's a lot nicer than what I've often been called.
No, just call me Brennan. That's good.
And he's about to find out those things. All
right,
we were talking about the transition going from the number 2 to the number 1, but when you were in Sarasota, were you the superintendent, or were you the assistant superintendent there too?
No, I was the superintendent there.
Okay.
So I'd spent since I was here in St. John's in 2006 to 2020, went there as superintendent for 2.5 years, and then came back here to St. John's.
Okay. So when you were at that top dog position, I'm sure it taught you some things of, because it changes from the number 2, you don't have the political side as much as you do from the number 1.
Yes.
So how do you see? I mean, you guys have a very nice board right now. So it's one of the boards that's actually functioning in this community. How do you make that transition to, all right, now I have to put on my political hat a little bit more and get through some things there? How do you do that?
I think in Sarasota, there were a few things that, you learn as superintendent, especially like you say in the political world. And at the time, I know we were just talking about, COVID and then, some of the political unrest, I guess you would say there, and things like that occur, and some things in the community and social media, and all the news that comes out on social media that's some factual, some not so factual. And so, I think one of the things that you learn, and Tim does a really good job at this too, is that external noise, so to speak, trying to keep that away from your schools, away from your teachers, so that they can really do their job, and the students can do their job, in schools. And so trying to keep that away from everyone and take that on and try to figure out how to maneuver the school district through those times, I think is very, very important. And I know I learned quite a bit through that.
All right, and you're following up with two coaches. You know, Joe was a coach, Tim was a coach. You know, so that I know they had that team mentality. How are you going to adapt with that? Because you're kind of taking on your own team, and you need to have your own identity.
Right.
How are you going to have your own identity and take on that that team that he's assembled?
Well, and I was a coach.
That coach
I was a baseball coach, but I will tell you that you know, when I arrived in 2006, Dr. Joyner was here, and I learned quite a bit from him and his leadership and support. And then Tim, obviously, amazing advisor, mentor. Definitely a huge educational leader. You know, learned quite a bit from both of them. And I will say, Tim has a little bit of the hug. Everything's going to be okay. And then he's got a little bit of the what'd you say? Buckle up and
suck it up.
Suck it up better. So Tim's got just the right amount of both of those, and to kind of keep everybody moving forward. But one thing for sure is that, you know, Tim has left us in a really, really great place, and we have a good strategic plan. We have amazing people working in our school district that are all about students and trying to focus on students. And so as we move forward, I think it's more of continuing to move the train on the tracks that we're on, because he has led us definitely in the right direction. And then just trying to find those challenges, those areas of focus that will continue to move us in the right direction. You know, every year you're going to have challenges that come up, whatever it might be, including growth, and we'll work through all that. So the others, you know, technology with AI, you know, we're trying to work through that. And so there's always these other things that pop up, and what we have is a really good foundation that Tim has put in place and Dr. Joyner has put in place, and everybody's on board with that. And we can solve anything as long as we're working together. And that's really what the vision is. Yeah.
And I was going to ask the question about the AI situation, because it does make things so easy. You know, we use it quite a bit, and I as a dyslexic guy, I use it a lot just to kind of clean up what my thoughts want to be.
Yeah.
Like, and I'll put it in. I'll go, wow, that's better than I was going to write it. You know, so how are teachers adjusting to this AI situation? Because it's so easy. Are they using AI against AI, or how are they making that work?
Well, I think you know, teachers are using it for various purposes. For instance, with lesson planning. And when they do research and they come up with their plans for the day, and when they're moving forward with the students and what they want to do, and they can use AI for those purposes. Also with helping with some of our assessments and so forth. You know, putting in different types of topics or questions and be able to pop out some, you know, good test questions and things of that nature. And so they're doing a great job with that. The hard part for us right now is understanding that our students are really going to need to understand AI as they go out and compete in the world. If not, they're going to be left behind. But how do we do that and make sure that they're not cheating and that they're still learning and having critical thinking? And so how do we walk that tightrope and help them understand and move them forward educationally with AI, and how to properly use it versus, you know, how to just use it to get an A on your test or your paper.
So,
all right. We do have some questions from the audience. There's been a lot of discussion about e-bikes and the e-bike ordinance and all of the accidents. And one of the audience members asked if banning e-bikes on campus was on the table as far as trying to minimize kids on e-bikes.
I think you know, what we have talked about and we're trying to do is, obviously when students are coming from their home, riding a bike, riding a skateboard, riding whatever it is they're going to ride, and they're going to do that. And that's a parental piece there, that hopefully they're educating their students on what to do in those situations. Once they get to our gate, we really want all of our students to get off of their mode of transportation and walk it in. So you're walking in your bike, whether it's an e-bike, a regular bike, your skateboard, and then walk that in, chain it up before you go into your classes. That way, at least in our parking lots where we maintain control, we know that would be a safe area. Now, outside the gate on the main road, that's really not our jurisdiction, but we do talk to parents and let them know that they need to be talking to their students to be as safe as possible, including helmets, because we do see students who arrive to school and they don't have helmets, and we want to make sure parents know that, your child didn't have their helmet on today, but once they're inside the gate, then we can really control that. And that's really what it is not limiting what they're riding, but limiting how they're entering our campus.
Right on. And our question of the day brought up a lot of discussion about favorite classes and then what classes are still offered. So,
like the programs that are programs like at the start of your career. The three of us have a little bit of gray in our system. At the start of your career, what are some of the programs that or once there that are gone, and possible new programs to help our students out there and compete? So,
well, I think back when you were young, wasn't the printing press and the
wise guy?
Is that
Yes.
No, but I think
tablets. Yeah.
I think
Thank goodness Franklin came out with that.
That's right. But the technology has grown, quite a bit. Our students have their phones and they have their computers, and they can do quite a bit with all of that. It's quicker, it's easier. The thing that we have a hard time with is keeping up with them on some of that, because they're so ahead with that, especially with social media. It's just trying to stay ahead of the game on that, and then AI and anything new that's coming out. A lot of times we're trying to keep up with it, but at the same time help them be able to understand how to use it properly for research and so forth.
You were a math teacher, so one of the things they said to us in math is you better learn math. You're not going to have a calculator with you all the time.
That's right. That's right. No, you're correct, and back when I first started teaching, it really was keep the calculator away. I was teaching middle school at the time. We really need to learn,
the smelly kids.
Yeah, all the
rude.
Middle school.
But I will say, as an educator, by the time they reached 8th grade, 9th grade, if they didn't know their times tables, we're moving on to word problems and solving issues, solving problems. And if you need to use that calculator, and that's kind of where we started changing to say, look, let's use our items as tools so we can solve the big problems and learn critically. If you happen to not know, how to multiply yet, you at least have your calculator. But I think using all those items as tools to solve major problems or bigger problems, come up with solutions to bigger problems. I think that's the main thing, because when they leave us and they compete in the real world, they're going to be probably with the team. They're going to have to think critically and move forward, and then come back to the analytics, or using the calculator, using the computer, using formulas and so on and so forth, but using them as a tool, not just because you memorized it.
All right, we got to pay some bills, and we have a couple other segments we got to get out, but we're going to come back to you so you guys don't get away that easily.
All right. I've razzed you a little bit about it, but now it's time for a quick check of the weather, Troy.
It's all right.
It's all right. That quick check of the weather is brought to you by Bin 39. Discover one of St. Augustine's best kept secrets, Bin 39, tucked inside St. George Inn at the north end of St. George Street, with over 95 boutique wines, 50 of them rated 90 points or higher by Robert Parker. It's a perfect spot for a romantic date night or a relaxing after work unwind. Sit by the glass or the bottle in a serene courtyard setting and enjoy live music Thursday through Sunday, open daily from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Just stop by and say, I'll have what Irving's having. Bin 39, your taste to discover. All right, Blake, it is time. Give us the Blake's traffic report.
Traffic looks fine.
It's moving.
All right. Good job.
All right, it's moving. So climb aboard Old Town Trolley and discover over 500 years of history in the heart of St. Augustine. This fully narrated 90-minute tour features 22 convenient stops and covers more than 100 points of interest, including the iconic landmarks like Castillo de San Marcos, the Fountain of Youth, and Flagler's Historic Hotel. With open-air views and all-day hop-on, hop-off access, it's the most fun and flexible way to explore the nation's oldest city. Your ticket also includes free admission to the St. Augustine History Museum, and St. Johns County residents ride free with a full fare guest through the Hometown Pass program, but you do have to find them and sign up at hometownpass.com. Old Town Trolley, the best way to see St. Augustine, one stop at a time. All right, we've got the Gas Buddy Gas Report. Tell us in the comments what gas prices are looking like around you. We've got the Gate at Mizell Road at $2.76. Circle K at 207 is at $2.79. Shell on King Street is at $2.95. Gate on US 1 North is $2.99. So is Sunoco at South Ponce de Leon Boulevard and the Shell at 216 Ponce de Leon Boulevard. A1A Discount Beverages also $2.99 along with Owens on South Ponce. Circle K on US 1 North is $3.05 and Mobile and Circle K on South Ponce de Leon Boulevard is at $3.19. That Gas Buddy Gas Report is brought to you by Chris Lucero Bail Bonds. Trouble with the law? Call the name St. Augustine has trusted for years. Chris Lucero Bail Bonds, available 24/7. Their experienced and compassionate team works fast to get you or your loved one out of jail and back home. From paperwork to release, they make the process simple, discreet, and stress-free. No judgment, just help when you need it most. When the time matters, remember the name and number, Chris Lucero Bail Bonds at 904-822-BAIL. That's 904-822-2245. Got live music today.
5.
We're going to scroll down to 5 o'clock. Taylor Roberts is at Fusion 904 Eatery. That's 5 p.m. Mark Hart is also 5 p.m. at Tradewinds Lounge. Evan D is at Guy Harvey Resort, still at 5 p.m. Vinny Jacobs is at the Tides Oyster Company and Grill, still in 5 p.m. hour. Jim Johnston's at Catch 27 at 5 p.m. as well. Damon Slaughter is closing out 5 p.m. at OC White's. Jazzy Blue Band is at Funkadelic Food Shack at 5:30. Caleb Joy's at Harry's Seafood Bar and Grill at 6 p.m. And so is Jolie at Michael's, still at 6 p.m. Edge Music and Art by the Sea at St. Johns County Ocean Piers at 7 p.m. tonight. Dharma's at Casa de Vino 57 at 7 p.m. and Modest Mouse is at the St. Augustine Amphitheater at 7:30
So traffic on the island
is going to be bad.
Be prepared.
So if you're going to the pier, go early because the amp traffic is going to slow you down.
And take your lawn chair.
Yes, for sure. That music report is brought to you by Fidus Roofing. When it comes to protecting your home, trust Fidus Roofing and Construction. Voted Best of St. Augustine every year since 2012. As a GAF Master Elite contractor, Fidus installs the GAF Lifetime Roofing System and expert metal roofs built to withstand Florida's toughest weather. From emergency repairs to full replacements, plus pavers and gutters, Fidus delivers quality, durability, and energy savings with every job. And this summer, Fidus is proud to support the Big Summer Fun Scramble on Friday, June 27th at the Golf Club at Southampton, benefiting Big Brothers, Big Sisters of St. Johns County. Tee off for a great cause with breakfast, lunch, raffles, contests, and more. Sign up today at bbbsgolftournament.com for Fidus Roofing. Call 904-355-ROOF. That's a 904-355-7663. Fidus Roofing, where trust is built from the top down. All right. Pay the bill.
We have paid the bills. All right. So one of the things that's near and dear to me is IEPs, and it seems to be as a parent handling IEPs, and if that's an individual education plan for children that have some type of disability. The IEPs are the parents and the child's IEPs. How do you get the teachers to understand that the parents and the children have to participate? Because a lot of times I've walked in there and I made teachers cry. I'm not going to lie. I walked in there and they said, "This is what we're going to do." And I said, "No, we're not." And then there was some pushback. How do you convince the teachers and the principals and them? And I know the way you guys work, that the principals kind of run their own city, but as a unit, to explain to them, the parents are a part of the process. Because teachers have busy schedules and they walk in there and sometimes they're just aggravated. They have to be there, and they have to be there. It's part of the IEP. How do you convince them that this is a part of the process and it is the most important thing to that parent and that child? They have 30 other kids they have to worry about, but how do you shape that to make it a good situation? And I'll tell you, I've had only 2 bad experiences in my 60 plus IEP meetings, but how do you convince them to not have those 2 bad ones?
Right. So Tim, I think we finally found the person that made our teachers cry.
Yeah.
We were wondering who that was.
He knew all along. It's not the only people I've made cry.
Well, I think as you know, with IEPs, there's a lot of compliance associated with that, right? There's a process, and you follow the process. There's a lot of compliance, and I think we spend a lot of time on that to make sure that we're serving the parent, serving the student, and going through the compliance piece as much as possible. Now, beyond that, one thing that we work on, we just talked about this yesterday, actually, again, was helping our folks understand that, okay, put yourself in the parent's place. Think about this situation when you're going through this, and let's talk in our meetings about what's going on and what needs to happen and what are the accommodations, but really be empathetic and come at it from that standpoint, that viewpoint, trying to help parents feel much more trusting of the process, that we are here together to work together and collaborate together for what's best for the child, and give your thoughts as far as an educator from that standpoint, but also understand that there's a relationship there, and we need to make sure that the parents understand we're trying to do what's best, and then put yourself in their place. The other piece is making sure that our teachers not only understand the compliance piece, but helping them understand how are we going to make this happen? What do we need to have in place to make sure that we are accommodating properly, not to check a box, but to do the right thing and help the student and help the parent with that. And I think when we come at it from that point of view, a collaborative point of view, more of a relationship situation, we're here as a group, trying to do what's best for the family, trying to do what's best for the student, instead of coming in and necessarily saying, or having in your mind, gosh, I just spent my whole day, or I was, I've had all these students, and you come in and all of a sudden we're sitting here, it's another meeting, we're going through the process, and checking these boxes. It needs to be much more than that, much more than just compliance. And I think the relationship piece and making sure that we have parents feel good when they leave about what we're trying to do, and try different things and see what works. So,
and I'll tell you, one of the things I'd love to see is, I'm sure parents, I know I did, and Blake's mom and Ty's mom got better with our IEPs, but we had to train ourselves. I would love to see at the very beginning of, if this is your first IEP, as a parent, you give them a little bit of an orientation of this is what you should expect. Because I don't think people did the homework the way we did as parents. And a lot of people did, but I don't think everyone did. But I think it would be really nice to have like just a 30-minute or 45-minute class with the parents and saying, here's your orientation of what you're going to expect over the next 12 years. Because they don't stop. So, I mean, I would love to see some type of program.
No, that's a great idea.
Some type of program like that. But I want to throw it to Aiden in the booth. He's a high school student right now at St. Augustine High. He's a senior, National Honor Society guy, so I'm going to brag on him too. But I want to have him have a chance to ask you guys questions if he has a question or two for you. So, Aiden.
Hey, so I'm going to start off with the programs question. So there's programs like ACE or whatever. How do you decide which ones get funding, and how do you decide which ones don't or don't make the cut? And going off of that, if one, like from the state with ACE, some of the funding, there's a bill going through where it's going to be cut. How do you plan to, if you want to keep that program at the level it is, how do you plan to fight for that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I've driven the I-10 corridor a couple of times going to Tallahassee and back on that issue, and spent quite a bit of time trying to help everyone understand how the funding works. And so I think the commitment of this school district and every other school district in Florida is to fully fund programs that are important elements of a child's education. I think if I go back, because I've been in it for many, many years, is that even at St. Augustine High School or at any of our high schools, students have the option of ACE, which is a very specific, very prescriptive accelerated program They have the ability to do dual enrollment with the state college here locally, and in many cases have the ability to do advanced placement. So there are multiple ways that they can do that. And one of the things that was happening this year was a look at how those are funded, and really the state legislature, hopefully they don't do this, and really driving down that funding for those programs, feeling that they were funded beyond what was necessary for them to be successful, for them to be fully funded. So we'll continue to work long and hard. I know Brennan will as well, but it's critical. You have to have that ability to do that, because Aiden, as you know, at St. Augustine High School, you could also be a member of it. It is the Center for the Arts for the county. It is the home of the Homeland Security Academy. It is also the Aeronautical Academy. And so for some students who want to be involved in those academies, they may not take something that is restrictive as ACE or IB and choose another accelerated path. So we have to be able to fund those and fully fund those as we go forward. And I think the school district and everyone else is committed to that. But it is still, I will just say this, there's a bucket of money. Mm-hmm. And when the bucket runs out, the bucket runs out. And so our biggest push, our biggest advocacy is to, in the state of Florida, let's increase the bucket for education in Florida. If we really believe we want to be the first, we want to be the highest performing, it takes resources to do that. You can try to get something for nothing, but you're not going to. You have to invest in it.
And you've been here since the involvement of Florida education. Florida used to be bottom 5, and now we're top 5. I mean, and like what you did with the initiative of the half cent, mm-hmm. And you guys were able to pull it off when the county failed multiple times. That has to show you what the voters are here for you too. So that's got to give you a little bit of vote of confidence too, that they were able to pull that off. So talk about how that helped and why we got to keep it in place.
Yeah, we can't thank enough the voters of St. Johns County. So it goes back to the same point. Even if we were talking about students with disabilities and IEPs or accelerated courses, what happened here is the community said, yes, I value public education, and I'm going to support it. I mean, I'm financially going to support it by supporting both a 1 mil increase and a sales tax increase. And, the surprise last fall was that the 1 mil outran the sales tax, mm-hmm. which is really, that's right on top of property tax. So what it does, if I'm, because now I'm going to be retired and I get to hold the system accountable, I am paying to get that kind of result. And so that is an important part of what I'm saying. The principle is it costs resources that need to go right to kids. And St. Johns County, their star, the families that come here, all of us that have been residents for a long time, those that have not been residents more than 2 years, they made commitments, and we're very appreciative of it.
Yeah. Aiden, I think you had a question for Dr. Asplen also. So.
Yeah, I did. So, being the superintendent at Sarasota, what do you plan to bring from there that may have been better in that area? Or how do you plan to kind of use that experience to make St. John's better in the future?
Good question, Aiden. I think one of the things in Sarasota that was unique was there were 5 nonprofit foundations that really helped the school system quite a bit with funding and resources. And I know we have an amazing education foundation here, Inc. They do such a great job, but they can't do it alone. And part of that is, I think building closer relationships with some of the foundations and then also continuing our partnerships with our businesses and so forth. I think that's very important. In Sarasota, it was very, very important that occurred, and they really helped us out with quite a bit of teacher training that we needed to work on and paying for a lot of that, which helped us a lot. So I think that, and then in Sarasota we did quite a bit with communications on videos of different schools and so forth. And I thought that was very important. The community seemed to like that a lot. so that they could see what was happening in other schools. And they're just 1-2 minute videos, but I think that's something that we need to strive to do as well, just to, I guess, sort of over communicate, because we do communicate quite a bit. We have a great communications department. It's just, what do we need to do to go to the next level? And also the younger folks that now, as you mentioned before, they have different types of media that they look at. It's not just let's go to the web page anymore and look, because people just aren't, they want something to come across their phone that's going to remind them to look at something, or remind them of something, or just click on this link and you can watch this video. And we do a good job with that, and we just need to keep pushing forward. And I think Sarasota, there we had quite a bit of resources to be able to do that, and I think that's something that we can key in on here as well, Aiden.
All right. And Tim, I'm going to come back to you here. One of the things you and I worked on together for decades, and we were much younger then, joint use agreements with the county. How are those, we put these in place 25, 30 years ago, when we started developing parks, and that's why the soccer complex is at, Gamble Rogers and, all the different facilities that we share parks within the schools. How do we keep in that relationship still strong? It was pretty easy. You and I, we just call each other and stuff like that, but we've gotten so big now. How are we making sure that continues to maximize the use of the facilities that's owned by all the residents, and making that transition? So that's a great point, and it does. As we've gotten bigger and bigger, there's more green space now that we have, that we utilize, or that the county utilizes as well. I think some of the things that make that even more challenging than when you and I could just call each other and get a space available is that a lot of these youth organizations are large, and the demand is high. And it's higher than really what we can support. And so it is good to see the county being able to invest in some of these parks, and some of the developers and the developments invest in green spaces, helping to make that happen. I'd say, though, it will continue to be a challenge, though it will. And I think one of the things that have complicated that is safety and security. So, we have statute that tells us on safety and security what we have to have in place and what we have to protect. And so as a school system, I think, if I'm a principal of a school, I want to make sure that when I come in Monday morning bright and early, that campus is secure. And so it might have been Sunday evening that the last soccer teams were walking off the fields, or lacrosse teams walking. So that's become more in the forefront of not just how do we schedule and how do we make it happen, how do we protect it so that we don't overuse it, but also how do we make sure that even when we're not using it for school purposes, we've taken the right steps to make it a secure and safe environment. So it's more complex than it once was, but I think the piece to it working is positive partnerships and realizing it's really not about us old people. It's about the kids. And as long as we're making decisions that for the sake of the kids who are using it, we're okay. So, all right. So I want to talk, shifting back over to Dr. Asplen, the current board that you have. You're going to answer to these 5. And like I said, you guys have. There's multiple boards in town, and I feel like you guys have a really good crew. I'm personal friends with a handful on there. How do you make sure that relationship stays strong, but still, because they're going to see a different vision than you? How are you going to guide and shape them? Because you're going to have a different vision. You're going to have some of his components, but you're going to have your own components too. How do you transition what he's done into this is my own, and this is the relationship I have with the board? Because I think he's done a really good job with the board, and I don't remember you ever getting beat up too bad by your board.
No.
So how do you maintain that? Because it doesn't always work like that.
Right. Yeah. Well, first of all, we do have an amazing board. When you look at boards, not not putting down any other districts or anything like that. Our board is exceptional. And what's great about them is they can have different views and discuss them very professionally. And then at the end of the day, come together and make a decision. And they do a really, really good job of that. I think as, coming into the superintendent position, the biggest thing that we could do is make sure we're communicating properly. And that means frequent communication, making sure that they understand exactly where I see the district going. I think it's also a good time for us to have a retreat where, and Mr. Forson, he would have 2 or 3 of those a year just to touch base with all 5, because the sunshine law, it's hard, it's unless really you notice it. And when you don't want to be in a workshop situation or a school board situation, you can still notice it, but have all 5 board members there to talk through what the goals are and where are we going. So I think it's really important to make sure that when we're talking during that time, we have a retreat coming up on July 1st. What are the expectations from their view of me? And what are the expectations that I have with them, and how do we work together and make sure that we're doing what's best for the students, and making sure that they understand, the vision that I have, and then understand the concerns and challenges that they see and what they think about those, so that we can pull all that together and collaborate together and work together as one. I think that's the most important thing. And then, just making sure the communication is there. We don't want board members to not have information when they're being talked to by their constituents out and about. And, they each have many, many constituents, and they really want to know what the answers are and where we're going. And so you have to make sure that that's there. And I think when you do that, everything will be just fine.
All right. And when you're sitting in a position you guys are sitting in, unfunded mandates coming out of Tallahassee, that relationship, you talked about doing that I-10, that beautiful I-10 drive. That's so fun for all of us coming across. Bev Slough, one of your board members, I always joke with her the first time when she first went into office there, she was over there and I taught her how to lobby. And I was like, just come on. And she went with me on every single thing. But that's a different skill set, that lobby and being able to lobby. We have a lot of freshman representatives right now, which is a little bit of a challenge, but they're doing a great job in standing up for us the way they're supposed to. How do you guys have a lobbyist, or does that fall on you guys? How does that work with the communication with Tallahassee?
Yeah, well, we have a government relations person who's an employee of the system. Actually, he is serving right now, military. So he is out, and so in that process for this year, we then contract or pursue support for lobbyists through another firm to help us with it. But a lot of it does fall on us to be there, and this too. It's like when you were a Parks and Recreation director or anything else, or you're representing Home Again, or when you're going and lobbying, my voice is not as impactful because, you're asking for yourself. So it's understanding, it goes back to his thing about communication, that the community needs to understand this is what we're talking about, this is what we're asking for, and this is why it's so important. I do think your point about locally in this region, we have a freshman team of legislators. And so the best thing we could do this year is just help them understand our perspective or understand things that you can't understand it all. They're voting on healthcare, on law enforcement, on corrections, on education, on higher ed, all of it. How can you understand it all? And public education in Florida, the finance side of it is complex. And so part of it is whatever we can do to help them understand, then they're gonna make good decisions.
All right, you got
I've got a couple of questions from the audience. So we've talked a lot about staying ahead or at least on pace with technology, but a lot of our audience wants to know kind of the classics in the curriculum. Are they still learning cursive? Do they still have child development? Are there still strong relationships with VOTEC for the non-college bound students?
Right. Yeah, that's a good question too. When you look across the board, there are 3 major areas I think that we look at too. And one is early on, your pre-K and kindergarten, and trying to make sure that students have the vocabulary, the phonics, and everything to be able to read. And as we move forward, that's one of the areas of focus. Another is acceleration, and we need to continue to have our students take those accelerated courses to move forward, whether they're going to college or going in the workforce, just so that they can understand maybe what they want to do as a career and what is that an accelerated course that will help that situation. And then in the as they move to high school, we do have our First Coast Technical College. We do have our academies in our high schools. I think they all help our students really move forward with what they want to do, again, whether it's college or workforce education. I will tell you that, I don't know if you noticed too, Tim, this year when we were shaking hands during graduation, sometimes you get a second to talk to a student because the line gets backed up or whatever, and you ask them where they're going, what are they doing. There were many, many students this year, which is different for me, that they wanted to be an electrician, or an HVAC person, or going into plumbing.
There's a real resurgence.
Right? Yeah. And so trying to make sure that we understand that, and that a lot of our students are going right into the workforce, and how can we help them? And so that's something else that we will prioritize as we move forward here with our academies and our CTE programs, career and technical education programs, to make sure that we're helping our students really understand maybe what their likes and dislikes might be if they are going directly into the workforce, and how can we help them with that as they move forward, so that everybody has a plan. You don't want them to shake your hand and say, I have no idea what I'm doing when I leave here. And so what can we do to help them with that plan, know what they're, what they want to do?
And my last question from the audience, they want to know if you would support parents in trying to get legislation passed to allow students with qualifying disabilities to use counting aids to assist with math in standardized testing and testing in general. Evidently, that's not allowed currently. So there's a push with parents to get that allowance for qualifying disabilities for counting aids.
Yeah, I'd like
not
to,
calculators, but counting aids.
Right. I think I'd like to get more information about that so that we can look at that and talk through it. We're always trying to do what's best for our students. And like you said, with IEPs and making sure we have proper accommodations and what will help them to be critical thinkers and be able to move on and compete in the world when they do leave us or go to college. So we do need to, if that's something that we need to look at, I would love to have that information so we can discuss it and decide what we could do and how we would even approach that if it is a legislative situation.
How would parents reach out to you to be able to have that conversation?
Yeah, they can email me, they can call me. I'll give you my phone number.
Okay.
And
you can give it
I'll give it to you.
and then that person can reach to me on Facebook.
That would be great.
Okay.
So we'll do that. And one of the things that's frustrating with me, and I've tried to get this removed from the standard testing, is nonverbal autistic children have to take the same test, and it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it kills the scores. If you have a lot of autistic kids in your school system, it kills the scores for, where you guys compete to be number one every year. And I'm just like, okay, why are we asking a nonverbal to identify, and the teacher sits there beside him and he goes, okay, point to the right one, if they can even do that. And, it's just ridiculous that that's a component within the standardized state testing. So I've tried many times to get it thrown out. So if you can help with that one, I really appreciate that one. All right, Tim, final question for you. And thank you, Dr. Asplen.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna kind of close out here.
Sure.
We're getting near the end. Final question, you. Are you going to Griswold it out? When I say Griswold, people aren't understanding what we're saying. You used to take your kids on these crazy road trips, load up the station wagon or minivan or whatever it was, and all summer long, you and Janice were gone. And I mean, I made fun of you, but I was a little envious of your time off too. But is there any big plans for you guys at this point?
We have one plan to go up the northeast coast a little bit, and I have family. I have a daughter in Baltimore and my sister all in Pittsburgh. So we'll do that one this summer. But to your point, people don't understand that I used to loaded up in the minivan with my 4 kids. Every child had a clothes hamper. We didn't use suitcases. You got it in a hamper because we'd go to the laundromat about every week and you would clean it and do that on the trip. So our trips were adventures. They really were Griswold adventures. And Sadie, who is my youngest now, who's turning 10 in July, hasn't had that kind of adventure. And so, yeah, that is something I owe that kid. The same kind. I don't know if she knows what she's in for, but I owe that to her to do some of those things. We hit all the national parks we can. Hike as much as we can. I'll never forget hiking the Narrows in Zion National Park with Kyle on my back as we were in chest deep water going up, doing something really stupid, honestly, with flash floods and all the things that can happen. But it makes for a great story now. It's fun. It makes for a great story. And the other thing we have in common is I was picking on you when Sadie came along. Yeah. And now I have a 5-year-old. So I was like, "What were you thinking?" Yeah, her and I are tight.
So. I saw her at the Teacher of the Year event with you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, well, thank you. I'd love to have you back in about 100 days. Your 100 days. Of,
sure, that would be great.
And seeing.
So you're going to hold me accountable, after 100 days?
See if that tie still is tight.
Can I bring Tim with me?
He's going to be gone in 100 days. He'll be in Pittsburgh. So, but thank you for, we're still going to be friends, but thank you for all your amazing service and what you've done for us over the last 40 years. So, appreciate it. Great job. So.
Thank you. All right, Troy, how do you want to check the comments?
I will wander through the Wacky Watchers on this whimsical Wednesday.
Whimsical Wandering is brought to you by BNS Signs. Want your business to get noticed and stay that way? Turn to BNS Signs, proudly family-owned and serving St. Augustine for over 50 years. From bold vinyl littering to towering pylon signs, they specialize in high-quality custom signage built to last. Their expert team handles everything: design, installation, crane service, repairs, and maintenance with fast and responsive service that keeps your sign looking sharp. Make a lasting impression with BNS Signs. Visit bnssigns.com because when it comes to signs, they do it all. It's also brought to you by St. Augustine Handy House. Need a custom or prefab portable building that's built to last? Come to St. Augustine Handy House, proudly owned by Troy Usina Enterprises and serving the community since 1988. With over 70 structures in stock, from sheds to barns to carports and offices, you'll find the perfect fit for your needs. Every building comes with free delivery, leveling, and anchoring, plus easy financing options to fit your budget. Visit them on State Road 16, open Monday through Saturday. It's 904-823-9092, St. Augustine Handy House, where quality meets convenience. All right, Troy, give us that comments report.
All right, question of the day. It seemed to be history seemed to be the theme of the day.
All right.
For everybody who was watching, including us in the studio here, social studies and history.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't a lot of math. Brennan said
Sorry.
It wasn't a lot of math. And Kenny said sex education. Hopefully you learned something. All right. Tim was not in the comments, so I don't know what Costco. So I will.
I will be texting Tim for a welfare check.
I will be reaching out to Tim to make sure he's okay. And Nick is extremely jealous of Blake's trip to Ireland. He's also a Steeler fan.
Yes.
And the BP is 274.
All right.
So, all right. That takes us straight to Stoidum stat.
Give it to us.
There was, sometimes the Stoidum stats are hard to find something interesting. Today was one of those days where there was like 15 things that I could have used.
Yeah.
Jacques Cousteau was born, but the one I decided to go with, and this is the day the 5 people came together to do the Declaration of Independence. Yeah, that's boring stuff. Very important day.
For all of our history fans out there, we don't want to talk about that.
So boring. Today is the day John Wayne passed away.
Oh.
So John Wayne, to guys my age, that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
So, I ended up being more of a Clint guy, but, John Wayne was still an impact. Mike's a huge John Wayne fan, so if I didn't do that one, Mike would have been upset with me.
As a Dolphin trainer, Jacques Cousteau is a big deal for me. Mm-hmm. I happened to be in Paris the day of his funeral at Notre Dame.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the day we got into Paris, we were supposed to go into Notre Dame Cathedral, and that was like our window on our tour. It was a high school tour in Europe. And they're like, well, we can't, so we're just going to drive around the cathedral because Jacques Cousteau's funeral's there right now. So we had to go back to the cathedral another day. But that was really cool. That was like the closest I was ever going to get to him. The Stoidum stat.
Trivia question. Name of his boat.
Oh, I used to know it. It's not Guppy, is it?
No. You guys know it?
No.
Blake, you have any idea? Don't be cheating back there.
No.
Okay.
He will.
Calypso.
Calypso. That's right. Yeah.
All right, that's Stoidum Stat brought to you by St. August Pizza in downtown St. Augustine, right on the corner of Riberia and MLK. Get yourself a delicious slice today. They also have delicious garlic bread. It's so good. Just go eat some pizza at St. August Pizza. All right, plugs, Troy.
All right, we got Bollocks tonight, and we'll be doing the Wager Wire, the second half of Bollocks. So tune in, see me and Lenny and Blake at 5:00.
Awesome. Do you have any plugs for us, Blake?
Have fun today.
Have fun. Stay safe. Don't forget to like us, follow us on all the socials, do the things. Bye, guys.